Thanks for tuning in once again to Cheap Heat Radio. I'm your host, Gene Jackson, as we join you here on the Cinco de Mayo. We got a guest this morning. We're going to get on the line here in just a minute. But I want to tell everybody, when you get a chance, check out cheapheatradio.com. We got some new things coming up at cheapheatradio.com, some really big things that I can't wait to tell everybody about. It should be very, very interesting, and when it comes time here in another week or two, I'm going to make an announcement about some things we got going to be going on at cheapheatradio.com, so look out for that. Also, here at the top of the program, I want to mention, be sure and tune in this Monday morning, May the 9th, once again at 9 a.m. Central. We will be joined by the Road Dogg, B.G. James, the former member of D-Generation X. We're going to talk to Road Dogg about what he's got going on in his career right now. We're also going to talk to him about recently inducting his father, Bullet Bob Armstrong, into the WWE Hall of Fame. I know that BG was very, very excited about that and very proud to induct his father. I know he's going to tell us about that experience in Atlanta on WrestleMania weekend. So we will be talking to BG Monday morning, 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in for that one. Now, right now, I'm going to get our guest on the line. Forgive me while I make the call. I usually try to do this before going on the air, but this morning I didn't have time. So right now, we're going to call our guest, Man Kru, and get him on the show.
Good morning.
Kru, how you doing?
Pretty good, brother. How are you?
I'm great. This is Cheap Heat Radio, and we are live on the air. Didn't get a chance to call you ahead of time as I normally do, but
all good.
Wanted to get you on this morning. I know you got a lot to talk about. Gonna talk about your career in general, but I know there's a recent incident in particular that we're going to discuss in depth. But tell us a little bit about how you broke into the wrestling business.
Well, I pretty much owe everything I've ever done to a guy named Black Sheep Bobby Dahl and former WWE superstar Umaga, the late Umaga, rest in peace. And those two guys, they gave me a super crash course. I didn't actually spend months training. I just had like a real super crash course down in Pensacola, Florida back in 2000. And came back up to Tuscaloosa, and there's a independent show here, and I asked them if I could work the Battle Royal, and they let me work it, and that's where I met a lot of people, and it just went from there. And then I was at an ECW pay-per-view, and I met a guy named Will Owens, and he gave me a shot, and he let me work his show called Ultimate Championship Wrestling every weekend. And then that's where I met Jack Lord, and he let me work his shows at Rampage. So I was doing Rampage Wrestling Federation Friday nights, and I was doing Ultimate Championship Wrestling, which now is called Ultimate NWA, because now they're under the NWA banner. And I was just doing that, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, going to shows in Alabama up until about 2003. And then I moved up to Ohio, and I worked for World Wrestling for a couple of years, and, a lot of good talents come out here. And, that's pretty much how I got my start. And, well, I was going to continue.
Okay,
I came
go ahead.
back down here. My Road Dogg Reese, he's a referee. He's actually had a lot of health problems lately, so I lost touch with him. And he's the one that I rode with everywhere to all the shows down here in Alabama for the longest time. And when he actually wanted to get me back into it back in '06, because I got out of it because I started making music back in around 2003. And I gave up on the business for about a year, and then he called me and talked into getting back in it. So I started going to some outlaw shows, you know, and getting a little rust off me. And then he wanted to run a show here in Tuscaloosa, where I live, you know, my hometown. He wanted to put me over big as a baby face. So he decided to run a show here and booked Mike Jackson and Buff Bagwell and Tommy Rich and, you know, a lot of other old school names. And I worked the first match against the Inhuman Fly, and Buff Bagwell was sitting at his gimmick table, and he was so impressed by it that he went and told Mike Jackson that he needed to use me. So I started working for Mike Jackson, and that's who I've been working for up till now, primarily.
Hopefully to get a little better. The phone's breaking up a little bit, so we're catching a few things here and there cutting out, but hopefully it's coming over the radio pretty well. But you work for Mike Jackson, and tell me a little bit about how, I know I spoke to Butterbean about a year ago about possibly booking him for a show, and he told me that, you know, he would work with anybody if need be, but he really preferred where he said, I got a guy named Man Kru that I work with, and we have really good matches, and I'm really more comfortable if you know, if you could book him, I think we'd have a really good match. How did you and Butterbean end up, you know, getting together and working together so frequently?
Well, you know, I knew Butterbean was in the area. I hadn't met him. I seen him, I mean, you know, up to a point where I contacted him, I hadn't met him or nothing, and I seen him on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling, and an actor friend of mine, he knew Butterbean, but he never introduced me to him, so I was like, well, you know, fuck it, I'm going to contact Butterbean myself, and I got on MySpace, and I contacted him. I told him I was interested in working with him, that I seen his work on Hulk Hogan's show, and he contacted me. He's like, all right, let's do some wrestling. So, you know, from there, we talked on the phone, and I came and visited him and stuff, and, you know, he's really opened my eyes to the business side of you know, sports in general and entertainment in general, and as far as, you know, money and stuff like that, and why you would do this, you know, if it wasn't worth it type thing. And that's how we became friends, and I booked him on a charity show I was doing for a convention. It's like a horror movie convention or something like that. A lot of Star Wars geek people. I'm one of them, so anybody out there that's offended by Star Wars geek, you know, I'm the biggest Star Wars geek there is. But anyways, we did this charity show, and he came and worked with me on that. And if you look on YouTube and any of his wrestling matches, I guarantee that you'll agree that me and his match is the best match on there. And so that's how our friendship began, pretty much.
That's cool. I want to go back to something you said a minute ago, because I had noticed reading your Facebook and previously MySpace and whatnot, that you have a rap CD, and then you mentioned earlier that you make music. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, ever since I was a kid, I liked rap music. You know, I listened to all that old school stuff, and so, you know, naturally I would do it in the shower when nobody knew sometimes, and, you know, I sucked, you know, when I was a kid, but, you know, by the time I was in my late teens, you know, I was actually trying to do it, you know, but I still kind of sucked. So, you know, it was like a work in progress, and then finally, like around 2006, I finally started becoming like professional at it, you know, professional quality anyway. And I put out probably 8 or 9 albums worth of music, you know, that just nobody knows about. But this one last CD that I put out, Man Kru, Man on a Mission, you know, this is like the ultimate, you know, I could have ever done on an independent, you know, and underground level, because I've got some of the best producers that make the beats for it. I've got some of the coolest, you know, underground artists like Esham on it, and You know, it's really. I wish more people knew about it and more people bought it and listened to it, because, you know, I really honestly think that because of the way I present my lyrics, you know, it's really articulate, and I think people would enjoy having industry quality beats with something on it that ain't bullshit, you know.
Well, for the people who are listening right now and downloading, we get tons of downloads on these shows. Where would they go about purchasing that CD if they wanted to hear it?
Well, you know, if they look on the video description on most of my YouTube videos, there's a link that lets them know where they can get it. And I also got a DVD, a wrestling DVD out, too. I'm going to put the link up on that, too. And pretty much, man, you can find it. If you really want to find my CD, you can find it. If you really are a fan of my work and you want to come and see my work and come to my, you know, Facebook and YouTube page and all that, you'll be able to buy it if you really want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
so pretty much if they go to YouTube and search One Man Kru, they're going to come across some of your stuff, right?
Oh, they're going to come across most of the relevant work that I've done is on YouTube, thank God, because I got a lot of impressive stuff on there. And just, you know, I gotta get myself out on a larger scale, which is Butterbean actually has helped me with that, because we taped something for his reality show, and so he's helping get me a little bit of exposure so I can get my name out there on a more national level. I mean, I've been on national TV before on Jerry Springer, but that don't really count, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, yeah, man, I mean...
Which, from what I understand, wrestling and rap music or any kind of music or any kind of entertainment is usually about that networking. You know, the people you can network with, and you know, you become friends with Butterbean, who hooks you up with this person, who hooks you up with that person, and I mean, you know, that's the way it works.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not just what you know; it's who you know. I mean, that's the most important thing. Networking professionally with anybody. You know, in any form of entertainment. I mean, just becoming friends with people. You never know what might happen tomorrow. You know, somebody might want you for this, or you might want them for something, and as you know, they've returned a favor by booking you on something. I mean, it's just how the business works. Tit for tat, favor for favor, quid pro quo. You know, that's usually how it works.
Absolutely, and I know. In the wrestling business, you know, a lot of times the best thing for you, you know, is getting a chance to work with quote-unquote name recognized, you know, individuals, guys that's been in the big leagues. And, you know, a lot of people consider themselves lucky to get a chance to work with one or two, you know, on the independent level. And I know from watching your YouTube videos and whatnot, you've had a chance to work with quite a few guys. Tell us a little bit about some of the name stars that you've had a chance to work with.
Well, let's just say that, you know, if I stopped wrestling today, I'd be pretty satisfied with what I've done, because I've worked with so many people that I never ever thought I'd ever have a chance to work with. That I'm pretty much satisfied with what I've done. I mean, I've worked with Bullet Bob Armstrong. You know, he's a WWE Hall of Famer. He's like one of the biggest name legends, you know, in the business ever, because, you know, he's been doing it for so long. And I've worked with Wildfire, Tommy Rich, quite a few times. You know, I worked Bob Armstrong twice. I worked Tommy Rich a few times. I was supposed to actually wrestle Tommy Rich the night that I got shot on by Bull Buchanan, but he took another booking somewhere closer or something like that. I don't know the story behind it, but anyways, that's how I ended up working Bull. But Tommy Rich, you know, me and him had a couple of pretty good matches, and I've also worked with. I did the spot with the Iron Sheik when I was younger, the little Persian club gimmick.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fun. I mean, but he's a pretty cool dude. And also I tagged on this upcoming reality show. It's Butterbean's. I think it's called Big Justice. He's a cop on it, you know. Well, we did like a charity fundraiser wrestling show for the show, you know, for drug awareness. and I got to tag with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and he was one of my favorite wrestlers when I was a kid. So I was like, holy shit, you know. Yeah, I just never foresaw doing that. I never dreamt in my wildest dreams that I would be tagging with Brutus the Barber Beefcake against Butterbean of all people. You know, it's just stuff like that. It's just like, wow, thank you God type thing, you know. And with Hardcore Holly, he right after he got fired from WWE, I guess he was in a bad mood because of it, because it wasn't a very pleasant experience. But you know, he was all right. You know, he had a lot going on in his life, and yeah, I was getting out of shape, so he probably wasn't very impressed by me. And I've also worked Buff back. He's the guy that helped get me the job with Mike Jackson. Now, Buff, he's a really cool dude. Like, you know, I never thought I'd be his friend, you know. And just by seeing that match with the Inhuman Fly, that's when he, you know, developed respect for me, I guess. I mean, I met him years and years ago, and me and him seeing each other in the damnedest places, like, we've been, like, states 1,000 miles away and ran into each other doing shows, you know, so
yeah.
That's why he remembered me in the first place, but he never actually saw me work until that Inhuman Fly match. And that's the only reason that he even watched it, because he knew who I was. And so you just never know who you're going to run into, who you're going to befriend, who you're going to work with. It's just really amazing. And I just want to thank God for every opportunity that he's ever given me. Because I honestly attribute all my success to that, you know. I mean, really. And
aside from the obvious Bull Buchanan, which we're going to get to here in a few minutes, for you, whether you actually worked him in the ring or just was on the show as the same show as him, is there anybody that you looked up to, like, you know, you talked about how you looked up and was a fan of Brutus Beefcake, anybody that you were a fan of as a kid and you were pretty excited about getting to be on the show with, and it was, you know, disappointing? Like, for me personally, like, I was very excited when I found out I was going to be on the show with Jake the Snake Roberts, and obviously that was a very disappointing situation to see the shape he's in. Even then, that was 10 years ago. Is there anybody like that when you saw, you met him and it was just like, wow, you know, that's the real person?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people I've met that I didn't really like, but you know, I usually don't like putting that out there. But I'll talk a little bit about that. You know, there's this guy named Hardcore Holly, if you haven't heard of him. And, you know, he's in a bad mood, and I don't know if he was ribbing me or what, man, but he was acting like a fucking douchebag to me, like, the whole day. And then when we got in the ring, you know, those chops, I had, like, what looked like the continent of Australia in welts on my freaking chest, and, you know, he just pretty much told me I sucked after the match, and it was just like, it wasn't good. Like, I walked up to him to, you know, talk to him, and he just got up and left and pulled his BlackBerry out of his pocket. I was like, what the fuck, man, you know?
Yeah. Well, if you'd have had a good experience with Bob Holly, you'd have been one of the first, because I've never heard anything but, you know, stories of what a, you know, asshole he is in and out of the ring. So I guess that's to be expected.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, that's the first and last time I ever met him. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, it just sucks, you know, because, you know, I appreciate Hardcore Holly's work. I really do. You know, I followed it since I was a kid, you know. His whole career I've pretty much watched, and I respect him. He's a hell of a worker. I mean, you know, and it was a great opportunity to get to work with him. I just had no idea that somebody that, you know, had such a great position, a great opportunity in life and made so much money would act that bitter and asshole-ish. I mean, it just blew my mind, you know.
It's sad. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what part of their life brings that out of them, but, you know, sadly there's quite a few of those guys in the business, but, you know, you just have to deal with them and move on. But speaking of that, I guess that's a good segue into talking about the root of the interview. Now, like you mentioned, you were doing a show for Mike Jackson. You was originally booked to work Tommy Rich. Tommy took another booking or whatever the case may be. But kind of walk us through the whole scenario here of, you know, how things, you know, went down, and from the beginning stages of finding out you were working Bull to what happened in the ring.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know the whole truth about this. I'm still trying to think about, I'm trying to fathom why something like that would even happen to a guy like me anyway, you know what I mean? But pretty much it starts like this. I went up to Double Springs, which is where we had it, you know, and all day long I was trying to push tickets, and I was pushing gimmicks, you know, at a gas station. You know, I sold about $500 worth of gimmicks, but I only sold like 5 tickets because nobody actually even gave a fuck who Bull Buchanan was. Like, they just bought my gimmicks because they thought I was dope, and then they went on about their business. And then, you know, I'm doing this gimmick where I'm one Man Kru. You know, I don't give a damn about winning matches. I really don't. I go in there, you know, I make the guy look good, then I whoop his ass. And whether I win or lose, either I bump the ref and I get my spot in, or after the match I attack him and I get my spot in, you know. That's my gimmick. I spear him, then I UFC punch him, and I put him in my triangle choke arm breaker combo and make him tap out. That's my gimmick. And all I wanted to do, because I was so well publicized in that area, because that Butterbean TV taping a few weeks ago, everybody knew who I was because me and Butterbean's picture was in the paper. And our pictures were in the paper for like 2 weeks straight. And I was saying, hey, man, you know, and I really put him over to every single person that I ran into that day. I was like, Bull Buchanan, he's a former World Tag Team Champion. He tagged with John Cena. He tagged with the Big Boss, man. He was the World Tag Team Champion with the Godfather. He's one of the dopest, biggest, baddest wrestlers ever. And, you know, I was telling people how honored I was to work with him, all kind of stuff. You know, and a lot of folks, they really wanted to come and see it, but they already had prior commitments, you know, like they had so much going on in town that day. They had baseball games, they had a play that night at a church, and they had something else going on. They had races going on, like drag races. So I was like, well, shit, you know, these people that I'm running into at this gas station, they're on the go, they're going to other places, you know. So I tried to sell it to them as much as possible, right? Well, you know, I get to the building, and they see I got all this money, but they're like, you only sold 5 tickets, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Like if the booker or the promoter like put him up to it or whatever, because they, you know, made more money than everybody else that day. I mean, including Bull. But anyways, man, I walked up to Bull. I was cool to him. You know, I've known him for a while. He probably don't really remember me. I don't know if he does or not. I don't really give a shit. But I gave him a copy of my DVD, and I explained to him, you know, what I've been doing and what my gimmick is and who I've been working with lately and how I got a lot of big stuff coming up. And I was just wondering if he would work these spots with me to help, you know, get me over. Even, and I told him I'd make him look like $1 million if he helped me out. You know, he was cool with it. But I guess the booker told him something that pissed him off really bad after that. He said something about I didn't want to job to him and I wanted to make him tap out or something like that. Because, you know, I was on the phone with him the night before. I was like, dude, if I'm going to be selling tickets all day in town, I want to know what you're going to be having me do, because I don't want to try to sell myself as one of the baddest dudes on the planet and go in looking like a bitch, you know, go out looking like, you know, going out looking real weak, and people, why would they pay to see me again if I did? You know what I mean? I'm sitting here, I'm selling them something. When I talk to people, when I do my hustle, I make it sound like it's the best thing in the world, like they gotta have it, they gotta buy it. So if they do buy it and they're disappointed, why the hell would they pay to see it again? That's my main concern. So that's why I wanted to get the stuff over, my little spots or whatever, and Bull seemed cool with it, but the booker, he told him that I was concerned about that, but he twisted my words around, told him I was going to make him tap out and that I didn't want a job doing it, which ain't true. I don't care about losing to anybody or jobbing to anybody. I don't give a shit about that. I'm a professional. But I just want to look good in the match, you know, and get my little spots in. So I don't know if that offended him or what, but we get in the ring, we do a few little spots that it was going to be an epic battle. It was going to be a badass match. Like, it really would have. If he would have stuck with the plan or whatever and been more receptive to my input, it would have been, like, one of the best matches he's probably ever had. But we're doing our little spots to, you know how, like, in a lot of matches, if you want to build up a really good match, you start out real slow.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you get each other over by being a pretty even match, right?
Right.
That way people are like, okay, what are they going to do next? Who's going to get over on who, you know? Well, we did that. He was cool with that. He did that with me. Then all of a sudden, we lock up. You know, he backs himself in the corner pretty much, and he tells me to start hitting him stuff. So, you know, I hit him. I punched him. And, but right after I was done, man, he, like, forearm smashed me right in the dome, man. And right there, I was, like, concussion city. And I legit staggered back into the freaking turnbuckle. I mean, I wasn't really, you know, walking. And before I could even turn around, he was on me like flies on shit. Another forearm smash to the dome, busted my nose, like pretty much broke my nose, gave me a concussion. Already my neck was like sore from there. Then he like flipped me around and like elbow dropped me, and I rolled out of the ring. Well, he chopped me too. He did a little chop lariat combo that they do in Japan, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like clubbing me right in the fucking neck every time he was you know, clotheslining me. And it wasn't. I mean, he could have paralyzed me or killed me. You know, I'm actually lucky to still be standing from that, man. So I rolled out of the ring. My nose is all, there's like blood gushing. There's like a little girl screaming and stuff because of it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, and people have this holy shit look on their face. Like, because they knew something was wrong. This ain't supposed to happen that way. And so I'm thinking, you know, the referee's counting me out. I just got the shit kicked out of me. All these people know it. What do I do? Well, I could take a count out and really go out like a bitch, or I could just get back in this ring, take it like a man, be professional, and let him squash me. And that's exactly what I did. Anything he did to me that hurt me, straight up, I let him do. If I knew what was going to happen beforehand, that wouldn't have happened to me at all. I would have tried him, believe me. But
now, is he saying anything to you during any of this, or are you asking him, like, you know, what the fuck, dude, or anything like that?
Pretty much, man. He was talking shit to me the whole time. Like, when he had me down in the, when he shot on me and pretty much spear tackled me and put me in that head and arm choke, he was really wretched on my neck. That's really what was hurting me the most when he did that shit. He put all his weight down on my head and everything. He was talking shit. He was like, "You want to make me tap out? Is that what you wanted? Tell me it is." Like, he was, like, talking hard shit.
Jesus.
Like, and just wrenching on me. I was like, "You're fucking hurting me, man." He's like, "What? What?" I say, "You're fucking hurting me, man." He's like, "I think you better tap out." "Yeah, that's what I think. I think you better tap out." So I said, "All right, motherfucker, I'll tap out." Tap, 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 because, you know, but at that point you're like, okay, this motherfucker is deliberately trying to hurt me. He does not give a shit about me, and he's trying to hurt me, so I just need to get out of the ring. You know, if the match is over with, that's cool. I'm cool with that. I wanted to do my job. I was supposed to go under clean anyway, so, you know, that's just pretty much the story of it. And
okay,
I was
now,
all right. I mean,
now one more thing here. Now, obviously, this guy's taking advantage of you in the ring. You know, you put yourself out there, and he's taking advantage of that. He's clearly, for everybody in the building, can see, obviously, that he's trying to hurt you. You get back to the dressing room. What's said? What does Mike Jackson say? What does Bull say to you from there?
Well, when I got back to the back, I was pissed. I said, "This is the most unfucking professional," these are my exact words, "unfucking professional thing that I've ever experienced in my entire career." And I just looked at everybody, and they were like, "Damn," you know, because they seen the blood gushing out of my nose and shit. And Mike Jackson was nowhere to be found. He was in the other dressing room hiding. The promoter, he was probably hiding. Bull comes back, and he's like all pissed off, yelling, "Is that what you wanted? Huh? Is that what you wanted?" I was like, "You stupid motherfucker." I was thinking in my head, I was like, I could pick up this 25-pound weight and cave in your goddamn skull right now. What the fuck are you doing talking shit to me after that? That's what I was thinking in my head, but I was real humble about it, and I just wanted to keep things cool because I knew it could escalate because my temper. I have a temper, man. I really do. and I really would have tried him, but I knew if I did, I would definitely lose my job. So I was just like, yes, sir, I'm sorry, whatever I did, you know. And he was just like, you know, for somebody like you that supposedly loves the business, you know, you don't know very much about it. And he was like, I was like, dude, I just wanted you to work with me, you know, help get my little spot over. That way the fans are happy. The ones that actually did sell a ticket to are happy, you know. So, I mean, and there was other people out there, they said they was going to buy tickets at the show just to make sure it was legit, and they were there too, but I don't get no credit for that. Anyways, man, he's just going off on this tangent about how I do this for a living, and, you know, I ain't pretending to be a wrestler like you. I'm an actual professional. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, dude, I just made more money than you did today. Who the fuck's the professional now? You know what I'm saying?
Professionals don't do shit like that. You know what I mean? I mean, if he was professional, he would have approached you before the match and been like, hey, what's the deal with, you know, the booker said you're talking shit, and squashed it before you got in the ring. I mean, there's nothing professional about going out there and pulling something like that, you know.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because, you know, because one of my quotes was put on the video of it. You know, he wanted to have a straight-up shoot with me. The only way we can settle, as he told Jack Lord, the only way we can settle this is a straight-up shoot. And at that point, I'm like, motherfucker, my neck's hurting. I got a busted nose and a concussion, major concussion. I had to go to the hospital for all this shit. And you want to have a straight-up shoot with me? I ain't even in the condition to get in the ring right now, brother. I'm telling you. So it just really offended me. So from that point, I was like, okay, motherfucker, it's time to blackball your ass. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get it out there and get people to know what kind of douchebag dickhead this guy really is. I mean, because I respect what he's accomplished, but personally, as a person, I think he's the biggest piece of shit in the world. And if you ever want to have a straight-up shoot with me when I'm 100%, I'd probably hand him his ass. Because he don't know me. He don't know I've actually trained in mixed martial arts and stuff like that. You know, I'm not no pushover. And it just offends me that anybody would even act like that towards me, because it really hurt my feelings more than anything else. Because I put him over to everybody. When I was trying to sell tickets, like a couple hundred people knew who Bull Buchanan was that day that previously never gave a shit about him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it really hurt my feelings, man. It just, I'm pacing back and forth. That's why I'm kind of getting out of breath, because I kind of been jogging while I've been talking just to control my emotions. You know, I know I'm probably coming off as a pompous, arrogant asshole, but I really am so pissed off that I could blow his fucking kneecaps out from under him. Like, that's how mad I am about it.
I mean, people who have never been in the ring or don't know, I mean, there's a lot of trust involved in professional wrestling. You are giving your body to somebody, allowing them to do these things to you. And regardless of what he heard before the match, when you're not fighting back, you're not trying to shoot back with him, 9 out of 10 guys, when they rolled out of the ring the first time after getting their nose smashed, would have just headed to the dressing room and went home. I mean, you did get back in there and show enough regard for the fans to go in and finish the match. I mean, that should have gained you enough respect for him to, you know, calm down and finish the match. And if he wants to go back there and you know, have a dick swinging contest in the dressing room, and let's go outside and have a shoot, because, I mean, what kind of show was that for the fans? What kind of match was that for the fans? Just, I mean, they didn't know what the fuck was going on, you know. I mean, a squash match isn't entertaining for anybody. Nobody's going to want to come back. I mean, the booker should have been in his face going, hey, you know, you could have just killed the fucking town out there, you know, regardless of how anybody feels about, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man, and you know, Mike Jackson, he yelled at me from the other dressing room through the freaking wall, for God's sake. He's like, is Kru working the Rumble? Because we were doing a little Royal Rumble style battle royal at the end, you know. I was like, oh, no. As soon as I got to the back, it was so funny, my envelope was handed right to me. I was the first dude that got an envelope, as if to say, okay, we know you're done, you know. So, I mean, you know, it just kind of makes me wonder if Bull was actually put up to what he did, you know. I was like, yes, sir, I'm working the Battle Royal. You couldn't drag me away from it, you know, because I wanted to show that after what happened, that not only did I have the balls to get back in the ring with Bull after what happened, I also wanted to show Mike Jackson that if I wanted to, I could go in there and I could act very unprofessional and start hurting people, but I didn't. I kept my composure. I did my job. And, you know, I was probably one of the most entertaining people in that battle royal because I was fighting one of the guys to the outside, and it got all ECW on everybody because of the guy I was working with. He's the one that pulled out the chair and all that good stuff. Yeah. But, I mean, I just want to show them that, you know, you can beat my ass all day long, but I'm going to pick myself right back up, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my job. And after that, Mike Jackson came to talk to me, and he asked me if I was all right. And he told me he respected me and he liked me, and that all he wants me to do is just keep my mouth shut and do my job. He's like, I don't need no idea, guys. I don't need no input. I just need you to show up and do what we tell you. You know, and I'm grateful to this man because, you know, he has given me a lot of good opportunities to work with people and paid me pretty good. And but see, it just kind of hurts my feelings that they say that to me because, you know, I book them on stuff and I let them do pretty much what they want to do, whatever's good for business for them. And all I ask of them is to just, you know, keep my interests in mind and try to understand, you know, that I got a son to support and I really got to do what's good for me too. You know, I'm a team player. I'll do what you want. I'll put over a female wrestler if you want me to. I don't care. I'll put over a midget. I don't care. All I ask is that you are receptive to my input and ideas. They don't have to be used, but at least welcome my input. You know what I mean? Because if I'm in a backstage scenario with Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Butterbean, and my input is not only welcome but encouraged by them, who the fuck are these dipshits walking around Alabama tell me that I just need to keep my mouth shut, that my ideas are not welcome? You know, do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah.
That sounds a little arrogant on my part, but really, honestly, I mean, you know, I've got a great mind for the business. I can put together great matches. I can put together great stories, and nobody cares. They just want to do a one-shot. Let's get the money from these people, and let's go home. And that's it. Let's not build nothing. Let's not try to make no long-term good business decisions. Let's just take the money and run. You know, and that, to me, that just doesn't do nothing for me.
Well, I mean, that mentality is what's killing the business, especially in these parts. You know, there's no consideration. There's no build-up. There's let's go rape this town for all the money we can once. And I mean, what good does that do you? I mean, there's only so many towns. Once you kill them all, then what? But if you want my opinion, for what 2 cents it's worth, for as long as I've been around wrestling, I think the mystery was solved in that last bit of the story you told. When Mike Jackson come to you and said, "I respect you, but you know I want you to keep your mouth shut," I figure that pretty much tells you that he's put Bull up to doing that to give you a message, you know, that you know, we don't want your input, do what we tell you. I think that pretty much sums it up for you, dude. I don't think that was all Bull's doing. I think he was probably encouraged to do that.
Yeah, I've actually had suspicions of that, and it's floated around in my head a lot, you know, and I just don't need that, you know, in my life. Nobody like that in my life, honestly. I mean, I did them a really big favor getting them booked on that Butterbean TV taping. You know, I could have called anybody. You know, I got buddies that got wrestling rings and great workers, better workers than they are. And I could have called anybody, but I just wanted to, you know, like we were talking about earlier in this business, you know, you got to help each other out and you get helped out. I called them, you know, and I helped them out. I let them do whatever they wanted to do, put them over, let them sell gimmicks. They made a shitload of money selling gimmicks, got some, you know, camera time, and just let them do what they ever wanted to do for business. You know, just put them over, put them in the match before intermission so he could hustle with more gimmicks and Polaroids. You know, I take care of my guys when I book them on something. You know what I mean? All I ask is that I'm taken care of too when you book me. Because, you know, these guys, I guess they just see me as like some, like, wannabe wrestler something. I don't know. Like, but I'm really much more than that, man. I'm a very creative person, and I'm an all-around entertainer. That's what I am. I'm an entertainer, and I just happen to love the wrestling business and focus my drive through that, primarily, pretty much, besides the music. And I just wish these guys actually saw me for what I really am, and try to utilize what I can offer more, because I do have the potential of building something big around for any independent promotion or any territory. I mean, I know there's no such thing as territories, but you can make a circuit if you really wanted to, and network with other promotions, and everybody have a job. And nobody wants to do that. Everybody's about me, and it's just like, dude, this is the reason the business is dying. It's because of, pricks like you,
Absolutely. I know exactly what you're saying. For the people listening, that's listen to Kru's description of the match, and if you have any doubts about it or want to see proof, the match we were talking about earlier about Kru's YouTube channel and the matches that are on there. If you go to YouTube and search One Man Kru and find his channel, that match is on there. The video of the match is on there, and it's all very apparent, just as it was described here.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious, and I welcome anybody's feedback, whether they think I'm a punk or whatever, whether they see the truth behind it and see what a asshole Bull was to me, because, like you said, we do trust each other. And that's something Bull even told me after the match. He's like, we're supposed to put our trust in each other. And I'm like, well, you need to practice what you preach, brother, because I trusted you, and you took advantage of it. And, it's just, it's bullshit. Anybody can see it for what it is. It's on there. And I don't know, man. It's just, I just hope that anybody that goes and books this guy looks at that and takes that into consideration before picking up the phone and having him on your card, because just let me tell you the truth about it. Don't nobody give a fuck about Bull Buchanan anyway. They really don't. He's not current. He might be over in Japan or whatever, but he is not current with the, the average person. Unless you're a really hardcore, diehard wrestling fan, you don't even know who Bull Buchanan is. That's the truth about it. Nobody cares. That guy has just as much of a struggle trying to, get known as a guy like me, in which I actually have less, because I have products I can sell and go and put myself out there. And I've actually overheard him saying that he doesn't sell gimmicks because he never did sell any. Well, brother, closed mouths don't get fed. You got to sell it yourself, and that's what I do. I'm a hustler. I made more money than anybody did on that show that day. That's the honest to God's truth. And I do make a living off my talents. And that's what offends me, when somebody like him, who's a washed-up glory hog that treats the fans like shit. I've heard a lot of my fans tell me that he's treated them like crap, because he just thinks his fecal matter doesn't emit an unpleasant odor. You know what I'm saying? But the truth about it is, the guy's not going to draw you nothing. If you book me, I'll draw more people than he will, because I'll actually go out there and sell the damn ticket.
Right.
That's the truth about it. I mean, that's the honest to God gospel truth about it. And that's what really, really, burns me up, when all these guys disrespect me like that and try to, get over on me like that, and shoot on me and stretch me and try to make me look bad, and, just try to bury me.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I think you did the right thing. You did the professional thing, at least. A lot of people's ego would have made them, show their ass and, go back there and cause a scene in the dressing room. But, I mean, you were respectful. You did what you had to do, and I commend you for it. I mean, you may say, some people may say, oh, I would have whooped Bull Buchanan's ass. I'd have done this. I'd have done that. Honestly, they don't know what the hell they do until they're in the situation. But what would you have gained from that? I mean, you would have come out looking as bad as he did, honestly.
Right, absolutely nothing. There's nothing to gain from it. Just like him saying, let's have a straight-up shoot to settle this. There ain't nothing to gain from that. Even if I knocked him on his ass, on a scale, on a certain scale, just a few people that know about the incident would even know or care about it. So, I mean, you know, it's not going to draw big money because people don't care about him. I'll go to a town and I'll make people care about me. That's the difference between me and him. Nobody gives a shit about him. That's the truth. And even if we advertised it big, nobody would care. That's the honest to God truth. I'm telling you. I'll stay. You know, if I'm lying, may God strike me dead.
People don't come to a wrestling show to see who's the biggest legit badass. I mean, if they want to see that, they'll go to MMA. There's plenty of MMA out there to see shoot fights. You know, people watch wrestling because they want to be entertained. They know it's entertainment. And they don't give a shit if Bull Buchanan or Man Kru, whoever is legit the baddest motherfucker on the show. They came to see a show. I mean, you know, honestly, in a movie, you know, Bruce Willis may be the biggest star, but there's probably some extra or some stunt man or somebody that could whoop his ass. Does that make it any less entertaining? You know, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. You're out there to entertain people, and from what I saw that video, there was nothing entertaining about that, you know.
Well, unless you just like violence, I mean.
Yeah. And even then, people are going, that's fake. You know, I mean, that's the thing, because you can't convince anybody in wrestling anymore. I mean, there's going to be people who watch the YouTube video and be like, oh, I wonder if that's, you know, if he's really doing that or if this is all. I mean, there's going to be somebody listening. I promise you, dude, people are so cynical now about wrestling that there's going to be somebody who's listening to this right now going, this is all the work. They're just setting up an angle for when they come back to that town or some bullshit. You know, I mean, we both know that's untrue, but, I mean, that's how cynical people are. I mean, this is the generation of wrestling fans who swore up and down that, you know, Owen Hart's death was a work. You know, I mean, they don't believe anything anymore.
Well, to the people out there that are skeptical of this whole thing, just let me tell you this. If a promoter called me up today and said, hey, man, I got a shot for you. I'm going to give you $200 to come here and work Bull Buchanan. I would say not only no, but fuck no, because I can go out and hustle gimmicks in that town and make twice that much money. I don't need to go in there and risk my neck. And then my fans are more satisfied because they actually get a legit product like a DVD that's got me working all the big names on it, or a rap CD they can bump and show their friends, or a picture. You know, I actually give them something worth having. When you buy a ticket to a wrestling match and see me, you're just renting that. It's here and it's gone. But when I go out there and I push my products, I make a mark out of somebody. I shouldn't use that term. You make a fan out of somebody, because I've always was offended to be called a mark. I thought it was a derogatory term, you know. Yeah. All the fans, all my friends, fans, family that care about what I do, I bring them the goods. I give them something legit, something tangible, something that they can always have. They can have a little piece of me, you know, with them. And that's why I got more people that care about me than guys like Bull Buchanan. And it just, I'm a hustler, man, and I don't need the business. I don't need wrestling. I love it. Okay, that's why I'm in it. I don't have to do it. I can make big money, never setting foot in the ring again. I can do rap concerts. I can do movies. I can make music. I've got so many different kinds of work that I never have to wrestle if I don't want to. And that's what really pisses me off about stuff that like the Bull Buchanan incident, because, you know, I didn't have to do that. After I made all that money in that town, I could have gave them the money for the tickets and bounced and just no-showed them and pocketed all the money. And my brother was like, hey, man, how about no, and let's just go home. I have enough money right now. I was like, nah, man, you know, I'm a professional. I need to fulfill this booking obligation. Because if you book me, I'm coming. I'm there. But if you think that me and Bull's situation is a work, it's not. You can plainly see on the DVD where it gets ugly. And that, you know, if you watch any of my other matches, recently the one I did with Doink the Clown, and you see how dope that match is, or the new one I'm about to put of me and Mike Jackson, you'll see that there's a certain way that I work my matches out, and we didn't go by that little blueprint that I had to get myself over in the Bull match, so you automatically know something's wrong. you know, when you see the blood coming out my nose. I mean, I have a goatee and it's kind of red anyway, so the blood, it kind of like took away from you being able to see like great detail of the blood. But let's just say when everybody saw the blood coming out of my nose, knowing that it was a Mike Jackson family show, they knew something was wrong.
And no one juices their nose.
Right. And it was just real ugly. It was real unprofessional of him. And you know, I just want to tell the fans out there that, you know, it really ain't fake what happened. I mean, you know, it's our business. Yes, it's a work, but it's very physical. Yes, we do get bumps and bruises. We actually do take a few hard shots here and there. But this was ridiculous. This was 100% straight up real, and it's pretty self-explanatory. And I just encourage anybody. You know, I'm probably doing this guy a favor by even freaking talking about him, dude. I mean, you know, that's how stupid this guy is. I know he's big, almost 7 feet tall, 300 pounds, whatever. He was in WWE, whatever. Nobody cares.
I mean, that's the shoot right there. I mean, if people think you're just being a smart ass or you're bitter or sour grapes, I worked on 2 or 3 shows of Bull Buchanan, and when I was trying to get people to come to the show, even friends of mine, people I worked with, and they're like, who's going to be there? And I rattled off people, and I was like, oh, yeah, and Bull Buchanan. They're like, who? I'm like, he was in WWE, and they go, when? And I had to rattle off everything he did, and he's like, oh, yeah, he's one of them fucking censor guys. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's an afterthought. I mean, and, you know, it wasn't like he was a draw when he was in WWE. I mean, honestly, do you think there was one person that bought a ticket to a WWE show to see Bull Buchanan as the right to censor, or when he was John Cena's sidekick? And, I mean, I ain't trying to, you know, just completely tear the dude down, but I'm just saying, you know, why promoters think he's such a draw just because he used to be in WWE, because he wasn't a draw when he was there. But, you know.
Well, you know, and if you went to, I bet you $1 million if I had it on me right now, that if you went to WWE headquarters and you look at the records on merchandise sales from the year 1997 to 2003, I bet you won't see one single unit of Bull Buchanan merchandise that has ever been sold. Because not only that, but it didn't exist. Unless you count the little action figures he did.
Right, which everybody got, so, you know.
Yeah. I mean, but if you, like a Bull Buchanan T-shirt or a DVD or something like that, I guarantee you that does not exist.
Yes, don't hold your breath for the Bull Buchanan career retrospective coming from WWE home video on DVD at Walmart anytime soon.
No. Not only no, but hell no.
Well, I've enjoyed having you on, man. I'm glad you got to vent a little bit about what happened to you. And, I mean, like I say, there's no excuse for that type of thing. If the guy had a personal issue with you, or if the booker had a personal issue with you, they should have been professional about it and spoke to you about it before the match. Don't go out there and cheat the fans out of seeing a match to go out there and improve some big point that you think you're trying to make. I mean, it's just unprofessional. It's reckless, and you could have been very seriously injured from that, you know. And is that worth making some point of, hey, don't give us your ideas? We're going to go out there and break your freaking neck to get you to not give your ideas in the future, you know?
Man, it's amazing, you know. I mean, I've talked to one of my trainers, you know, and he told me I should have been like, yes, sir, about everything. And he's right, you know. I should have really humbled myself and just, you know, just shut up and did my job, really. Because, but really, man, like, it's just bullshit to me that somebody that knows as many people as I do and is as respected by as many people as I am, that they tell me that, you know, when nobody actually gives a shit about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they would be doing shots somewhere besides bumfuck Egypt, Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, we're almost out of time, man. So once again, if you want to check out Man Kru's DVD, if you want to purchase his rap CD, go to just search for Man Kru on YouTube, and when you find his videos, there's links to each. At the very least, go on YouTube, check out some of his matches, and see what he's talking about. And I thank you for having me on the show, man. It's been a fun show.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, and you know, I look forward. Hopefully, we'll do another one. Yeah.
Hey, we will, man. We will. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. I just want to say shout out to everybody. God bless, and thanks for listening. Peace.
All right. All right, there you have it. One Man Kru. Good guy. I like One Man Kru. He's a cool guy. I mean, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna maybe disagree with some of the things he said, but you know, I mean, it wasn't cool what Bull Buchanan did. But you know, like I say, check out his DVD. Check out his rap CD. I mean, apparently he's a wrestling star. He's a rap star. By what he said a while ago, potential movie star. So be sure you check him out. I want to run down a couple of things real quick. Big weekend this weekend. A lot of wrestling going on. Friday night, of course, this Friday night, May the 6th, 7 p.m. in Piedmont, Alabama, NWA Pro South Wrestling presents their Spring Spectacular 3, which, of course, the Pro South Arena is at 627 Southern Avenue, Piedmont, Alabama. Going to have a steel cage match for the Pro South Heavyweight Championship. Hit for hire, Bobby Moore taking on the champion, Brandon Collum. There's going to be a no disqualification, no count-out grudge match with Jimmy Rave taking on Ace Haven. There's going to be an NWA World Tag Team title match. The tag team champions, the new World Tag Team champions, the usual suspects defending against the Pro South Tag Team champions. Jimmy Rave approved. Damon Taz will be taking on Brian Alexander. Tickets are just $6. Make sure you check that out. Also, Friday night in Lynn, Alabama, Ultimate NWA will be in Lynn, Alabama at 7:30 p.m., I believe is the bell time. Also, Saturday, Tupelo, Mississippi, Intense Pro Wrestling at Good Time Charlie's in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's going to be a bar show, but it's going to be all ages. But, you know, there will be security there and to keep things under control. Going to be a great show. The return of Parental Advisory. The stud Scott Porto returns the team with Bad Attitude Tony Dabbs to take on Popular. Neil the Real Deal Taylor will be taking on Sweet Daddy Jones. Ton of other guys on the card. Myself, Jeremy Flint, Extreme Brett Michaels, Chris Styles, Josh Matthews, just a ton of people on the card. It's going to be a really great show. Hope everybody comes and checks that out because this is going to be the beginning of something big, I believe, with IPW in Mississippi. They had a good show in Amory, Mississippi last Friday night. Looking to follow it up with another great show this Saturday. Don't forget, if you do come to that show, please bring donations to donate for the storm victims in the area, especially Smithville, Wren, that was just destroyed by the tornadoes last week. I know they collected a lot of stuff in Amory last week, and we'd like to see a lot of stuff get collected this Saturday night. Good Time Charlie's, 8 p.m., IPW Wrestling. So thanks for listening this morning, and don't forget, Monday morning, May the 9th, this coming Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time, we're going to be talking to the Road Dogg, B.G. James. And don't forget to check out cheapheatradio.com.